Season 9 has been announced for New World, but I think there's something much bigger around the corner. Season 10, for example, is looking insane, but what exactly is Season 10? Well, yeah, let's jump in and let's talk about it. So what they've done today is they've done a dev video. The dev video announces what's in Season 9, and they talk about some interesting bits in here. I say interesting, there's not too much, so I'm going to kind of like gloss over it. It's coming July 29th, and it's a lot of stuff that we'd already known about. We're going to get the Capture the Flag mode with the 2 PvP maps that are going to rotate. That's just going to be its own category in the activities menu. We're getting a new arena map that's also going to rotate. Ring of Fire is going to start a bit earlier, I think, which makes sense. There's also going to be an update to the free-for-all zone. There's going to basically be an anti-grouping mechanic. You get a debuff the closer you are to players. Weirdly, it says you got to kill to reduce the stack and then die to reset it. I mean, killing to reduce stacks doesn't necessarily suggest anti-grouping, because if there's loads of you and you all do the killing. But whatever. I mean, I like the idea of this. I just don't know if it's going to be worth it, especially why would you go back? Well, they do talk about some reward improvements. They're effectively going to increase the balloons. They're going to also change the Wheel of Fortune, increase the max gear score, and make everything a little bit better. They're also doing faster chest interactions, so you can get in, get your stuff, and get out. Okay, fair enough, nice. There's going to be a couple of new artifacts. There's going to be a Plague Herald, which is going to allow you to put Plague on the enemies. That could be strong. The Aeter's hammer is basically back on that. I don't know if it's getting a different name. I swear they said something in the video. That's going to be the cleaver that sends them away. Crescent's Wave is the great sword that does the same, I think, with the... was it heavy attacks? I can't remember. But they're from the PvP server, just getting made into artifacts. Then they're going to rework these, including Vengeance. Nobody knows exactly what they're going to be, though. We don't know. We weren't told. They also mentioned Haste is getting nerfed, and I think that might be everything for Season 9. They did do a section of the video where they spoke about their favorite parts of the reward track, but I was like, okay, snooze fest. They're also going to be making some changes to some medley first, some open world bosses and stuff like that. Fair enough. Let's be honest, nobody really cares. Apart from this bit right here at the bottom. Seasonal servers are not returning in Season 9. They are dead. Dead and done. Makes sense. I actually think that is a good thing, right? Cut your losses. They weren't working. Don't do them anymore. Great. Okay, I spent too long on that. There's some really big stuff in Season 10. I personally am a little bit confused by Season 10, and I'm going to explain why in a moment. However, Season 10 actually sounding pretty big. Yes, they did talk about Season 9 at the start of the video. We got to let them have that. Then they spoke about Season 10. Now, they're obviously not yet ready to reveal anything from Season 10. There is going to be a new Capture the Flag preview, but they didn't show any footage of that. The rest of Season 9 is pretty much what we knew, right? There's nothing crazy there. However, we now have confirmation exactly what is in Season 10, and keep in mind Season 10 is probably going to be 3 months after Season 9, so you can expect it to be around about October. But then it also says, and beyond. And this is where things get a little bit confusing. Season 10 sounds great. New zone, new raid, the procedural expeditions, the endgame progression overhaul, the next-gen Umbrals set bonuses, gear sets with attributes, customizable HUD. Yeah, great. Okay, cool. People are a little bit disappointed that the new weapon is in the and beyond stage, as well as the raid difficulties, the new PvP mode, rumored to be a battle royale mode, the zone up level, which we think is going to be Reekwater, new heart rune, endgame reputation system, pickup wars, sad to see that get dropped into the beyond stage, and the crafting global storage. So it's not actually going to be global storage. You're going to be able to craft from anywhere and use all of your storage. That's actually pretty cool, actually. Now, what's the confusion here? Well, I thought this was going to be an expansion. I still kind of think that it could be an expansion. We're getting a new zone, which, by the way, looks like it's going to be Dunwood, and it looks like it will be werewolves and vampires. It's very hard to make out because of that image, but that looks very gothic to me, so very vampiric, if that makes sense, but maybe it doesn't to you. But yeah, like what is this, and how is it going to be delivered? That's kind of the main question. Like, what is Season 10 and beyond? What does the and beyond bit mean? Does it mean in Season 11 and 12? Perfectly reasonable way of interpreting it. Or does it mean like we had when we had the Season 3, where it was Season 3 in an expansion, and the beyond bit is the paid section? Kind of don't think that the beyond bit would be a paid section, because some of it doesn't really make sense. Why would you give like the new zone for free in Season 10, and why would you do the paid bit in a zone up level in the paid bit? So there's a bit of confusion here. It all boils down simply though to there's three kind of main things that could be happening to New World with Season 10. This could be a paid expansion. This could be a free update, sort of like Brimstone, or just a normal season patch, I guess. 3, they could be going to free to play. 4, which I never actually said. I said 3 main and then I'm throwing in a 4, but they could be doing something else. Never rule that out. They could be surprising us. Now, I'm going to go through each of those and talk about why this is a little bit weird. One, if this is a paid expansion, why has it been spoke about like this? Why are you suggesting that this is season 10, which sort of implies free content? You don't normally play for seasonal content, so it kind of implies that it's free. But then again, the seasonal servers has been on the roadmaps and they've been paid. Well, the rewards have been paid. If it is going to be a paid expansion, it makes sense to have marketing, have a trailer, and there's going to be a dev Q&A after season 9, which I would assume will be about season 10. It makes sense to just not talk about it right here and then just do a complete like trailer, big dev update, etc. But the question would be, is it sort of right to suggest that it's normal season content and then have it be a paid expansion? I don't know. This would be expansion level content in New World terms, like a new zone, new raid. Not having a new weapon would be pretty sad, but okay. Oh, I didn't mention, by the way, the flail is actually getting kind of like buffed in season 9. It's going to get buffed if you don't use the life staff. It's going to do more healing, and if you don't use a shield, it's also going to do more damage. Couple of extra ones, but whatever, that's the gist of it. But it'd be weird to not have the new weapon in an expansion if it is an expansion. To be honest, apart from Aeternum, I think we've always had a new weapon. Like in Rise of the Angry Earth, we had the flail. In Brimstone, we had the greatsword. So that could go either way. But yeah, I don't know. Right? I don't know. A paid expansion to me is completely normal. It's what I expected. It's very much what I expected. But the fact that they've spoke about it here and not mentioned a paid update could be a marketing faux pas in a sense. Like it could be, yeah, this is a paid update. We're just not willing to admit that it's a paid update right now. So yeah, we'll do that in good time. But I think that's a little bit naughty, a little bit, right? If that is the case, if it is a paid expansion, then I think this is a little bit naughty. Not the end of the world. I think the amount of people who would actually give a crap about that, considering New World play numbers are not exactly like sky high right now, wouldn't be that high. And it would make sense to not announce that it is an expansion because it basically takes away the hype. Like we knew Rise of the Angry Earth was coming, we just didn't know when. So to keep it a little bit of a mystery, maybe they're not announcing that it is officially an expansion. Like I completely get that, it would make sense. The second option though, is that it's going to be a free update. There are a couple of people in the community who think a free update was always likely because we had console and maybe they want to give console free content. A bit of me was like, nah, they're not going to do that because the amount of money that they make from selling an expansion would just outweigh the goodwill that they would generate. We have to consider that it is possible. It's possible that this will be a free update, like an expansion, like it's still the content of an expansion. It's just they would do a free update. Now, why would they do a free update? First and foremost, to garner goodwill. They want to tell all the console players who bought in and all the people who were angry at New World Aeternum, hey, yo, here, come play. We're having a great time. This is great stuff. There also might be a little bit of a sneakier motive there where they go, we're going to give you a free update, but please buy these new microtransactions and our old microtransactions. Buy the season pass, buy the mounts, etc. Now, I don't really know the conversion rate on how much they make from microtransactions as a percentage of the player base. Maybe they think they'll get so many people in with it being a free update that they'll milk them on the season pass versus charging people for an expansion and then not getting as many people and then trying to have to milk them as well. Maybe they just have done the maths and they think, hey, a free update plus milking the microtransactions is better. I genuinely don't know. But season 10 sounds great. Like I'm genuinely excited for it. Like the procedural expeditions, that sounds pretty cool, right? I imagine it kind of like a Torghast, high risk, high reward. The further you go, the harder it is, but the better the loot. The new zone is basically, well, I think it's probably going to be something like Dunwood, werewolf, vampire themed, new raid, probably similarly themed. The end game progression system overall is potentially going to be huge. The next gen Umbral system is part of that rework. Set bonuses are just cool. Attribute save with the gear set, great. Customizable HUD is also pretty good. I'm like, the content is sublime. I'm very happy with that. Sublime might be a little bit of a too bold of a word. New weapons, sad to see go. It is rumored now that the new weapon will be daggers. I think daggers is now more likely, but you know, some of these systems also sound great. Now, the reason I'm going back through this though, the third option is that the game goes free to play. Now, if it's free to play, then it's also by default probably a free update. If the game did that, you could very much expect a ramping up of microtransactions. Now, I don't think they would go pure pay to win because I think the community would lose their absolute mind. But if they were going to go like pay to win, you could definitely do it with maybe an introduction of a new Umbral system. That would maybe be possible. I personally think free to play is like the least likely option. Probably would annoy the console players too much who just bought the game I'm not sure that they want to go down the pay to win route, so I don't really think that's going to happen. But conceivably, it could. Maybe when they get to these new travel mechanics, maybe it's bolts, maybe they sell you ship skins. I don't know. They did talk about how in the new zone there's going to be like new AI, so it sounds really like fully fleshed out. For me, I'm completely torn, right? I literally don't know what it's going to be. It's either going to be a paid expansion or a free expansion. If it's been a free update, for example, like Brimstone, traditionally they told us that Brimstone would be free, and then they told us that the expansion would be a paid expansion. It'd be weird for me to not have been told, but maybe they can't tell us that it's a paid expansion because they don't want to announce the expansion, but they did want to give you the roadmap because they promised the roadmap. That could very easily be the case. Maybe I'm reading too much into this. Maybe it's definitely one of them and it's, you know, it's just a paid expansion. There's nothing crazy going on here. But for me, something just smells a little bit fishy. Just the way they spoke about it, there's something happening there and I'm not 100% sure what it is. And for the first time, I feel like it's actually hard to predict. Ever since Rise of the Angry Earth, I think New World has been relatively predictable. And even with that, they were mostly predictable. I just kind of over-predicted some things, but let's not talk about that here. But now I just don't know which of the two it's going to be. I don't know if it's going to be free, paid, or something else. Either way, though, as I said, I really do think Season 10 is going to be a banger. I've been joking about it on stream, but I think Season 10 will be the best update New World has ever had. Like, I actually stand by that. That's not to then say I think the game is somehow miraculously saved. It's going to be a top 3 MMO of all time. I don't believe that. But I do believe it's going to be pretty damn decent. It would have been better if the new weapon was included and some of this was included, but I don't know. Some people say that it kind of looks like an expansion that has failed to be an expansion and now they're splitting it out. That could also be the case. We'll just quickly talk about the in-exploration. So the in-development bit is like Season 10 and a little bit after that, maybe 11 or 12. In-exploration, potentially next year's expansion or something big like that. They've got new weapons, fair enough. New raid, new zone, zone up levels. Territory system overhaul, that would be pretty interesting, but they've been promising, well, they've been talking about that forever and not changed anything. Influence tower with siege building, pretty cool. Matchmaking in everything, rank PvP, company hall with storage, invasion mode with difficulties they've had on and taken off and removed and all that kind of stuff. Groups in soul trials and raids and expeditions. I mean, I don't get why, but fair enough. Okay. New exploration collection system. Yep. Account-wide progression. That's not crossplay. That probably just means if you have 2 characters and you do something on one character, you get it on the other. For me, that would be very nice with artifacts. I've pretty much got almost all of the artifacts, if not all of them, but they're on 2 different characters and sometimes I don't have the right combination and I can't really be bothered farming them again. And then new travel mechanics, I'm just going to say sailing because they've got a boat on the background, but that could be gliding, it could be flying, it could be bicycling for all I know. I don't know. There's not much else here. This is literally just a roadmap in just text form rather than an image. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. We don't know. I think what's confusing me is that they're doing something a little bit different than they've done before, and then it's leading me to be unable to predict exactly what they're doing. There's going to be people in the comments right here who are like, Jay, it's obviously a paid expansion. They're definitely not going to give that away for free. And then there'll be people be like, Jay, nobody will buy a paid expansion, you idiot. Of course they're going to give it away for free and try and milk us with the microtransactions. Nobody's going to buy it. Nobody's going to buy it. Like, why would they sell it? Of course. And you know what? Both of you, one of you will be right. One group of people will be right. And I don't know which group of people are going to be right. If you claim you know, you're wrong because you don't know, you just think. And that's fine, unless you are working for Amazon, in which case you do possibly know and, DM me. Slide into my DMs. It's too close to call. I'm not even going to make a prediction. I have absolutely no idea. What I do know is Season 9 is an interesting season. I'm going to enjoy it. I'm going to play it. I like the PvP mods. I'm interested in the preview, but meh. Beyond that, we really want to talk about the future, the interesting, big, probable October patch. I think we're now going to find out about it either late July. It would kind of make sense for it to be early August if we're only getting this July 29th. I don't know if they're going to immediately release this and then immediately tell us about Season 10. That kind of seems unlikely, so I'm not expecting that. What I am expecting, that's a joke. I was going to say what I'm expecting is you to hit the like and subscribe button. I'm not. You can do that if you want. If not, that's okay as well. Have a most beautiful day. Goodbye.